Welcome everyone to the Three Cynics Gaming Podcast. I'm Clay, here with my brother Nate. Unfortunately, we lost Mark due to illness, but we have a special guest this week here with us on short notice. This week we're going to talk about Titanfall and Battlefield, their eventual successors, GameStop's attempt at trying to save their business, and of course we're going to touch on the Fine Brothers because they're asses. But first, our special guest, Michael. How are you, Michael?
I mean, I'm doing all right.
Excellent. Great addition.
Yeah, your contribution is amazing. How are you, Nate?
I'm all right. Having a day. Did some stuff, some things.
Listeners, you'll be able to tell by his audio quality. He's not having the best of days, technically.
No. My microphone decided to take a shit on itself, so had to break out the backup mic.
At least it didn't take a shit on you.
I just want to say that I didn't know I was supposed to give an actual response to how are you doing, because I don't know if you know this about the living in America, but if you ask somebody how are you doing, it's usually just good and then move on. People that actually start telling you about how their day goes, you don't want to listen to them.
That's because it's grammatically incorrect and they need to say they're doing well and not good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. They just don't understand. First up in this week's news, from Destructoid.com, the new Mass Effect, Titanfall, and Battlefield games, they suspect, will be released by March 2017. They found this out according to one of EA's financial reports, their Q3 report. And of course, they have to show their shareholders where the money is coming from and when it's coming to them. So this is the easiest way to get these sort of rumors. And I gotta say, I'm super excited for Titanfall. I'm super excited for Battlefield. I'm such a shill for those games. I can't help it. All I can do is hope they're not crap.
I just have just two things to say about that. Didn't they say that Mass Effect 3 was going to be the last one, if I remember correctly?
They fooled you.
Wrong. Oh, okay. Thank you.
There's never a last one.
You've been bamboozled.
And I don't know. Are you actually hoping, looking forward to the new Titanfall? Because don't you fear that it's going to be the same? It's going to suffer the same fate as last time, where it was really popular for a short time and then dead.
Not really. I mean, I don't feel bad about spending $60 on Titanfall. I had a hell of a time with it, and so did Nate. And yeah, the community failed pretty quickly, but you can still get online right now and play. It's not as if all the servers are empty. You can still play. There's just not a lot of people.
Titanfall did a lot right for everything they did wrong, so I mean, hopefully the creators can expand upon what they did right and try to eliminate some of what they did wrong.
I suppose I'm just looking at it from
a more complete game.
I suppose I'm just looking at it from the point of view of I the bias of I've been playing MMOs for my whole life, and the less populated an MMO is, the less fun you will have because there's not as much stuff to do. The economies are bad and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't worry about the Titanfall economy, to be perfectly honest.
Thank you.
Well,
it's fine.
It's kind of like that with first-person shooters, but not really. I mean, I gave the example last week that I picked up a 5-game bundle from Green Man Gaming and got Black Ops in it. There's still 25 active servers for Black Ops 1. So, as long as there's some people to play with, as long as it's not Evolve and there's 500 people total in the world playing it, generally it's cool. You can still have a good experience.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can tell you what scares me about this whole story is Battlefield, because I couldn't give a shit about Mass Effect. But it doesn't seem likely that anything's going to take over Battlefield 4 on PC. I mean, they tried with Hardline, then they tried again with Battlefront, and it's just, nothing works. It's the better game, and PC players, they get stuck in their own, digital agoraphobia. I mean, how difficult is it to dislodge CS:GO, Dota, and what's the other one? Team Fortress 2 from their top spots. It's virtually impossible. Fallout 4 did it for a few weeks, and then right down the list it goes.
I wouldn't say for a few weeks. It died out pretty fast. Like, it burned out very fast, Fallout 4. It was one of those huge surges of popularity, then dead immediately. Once people found out that the game was just, I don't know, not fun. It felt rushed. The whole game felt rushed.
Well, that's you're comparing fruit, but you're comparing apples and oranges. For a multiplayer game, you're looking at, like we were just discussing, community size, not just how popular it is at the start. So it's a little bit different to compare something that wholly relies on other people to something that doesn't.
That's true. But I still haven't heard any counter argument that PC players kind of just get stuck in their fucking ways and don't move on. I mean, they might try the next hottest thing for a few weeks and then it's right back to Counter-Strike or it's right back to Team Fortress. I don't understand that mentality.
Because there's no rebuttal for that. That's just accurate. That's an accurate statement. Because how the fuck is CS:GO or Counter-Strike in general still popular? We played it. I don't mind it. I used to play Counter-Strike religiously back in the day, but holy shit was that 15 years ago.
Yeah. I don't understand. And I'm not detracting from those games because obviously those 3 games are great games that people love. Of course they are. But there's like, what is it? Like over 7,000 games on Steam. Now, you can count off about 4,000 of those as pure shit. But there's thousands of games out there to play. And yet still the majority of players hang out on those same 3 games. It's whatever. Moving on.
I think what it is. Hold on, I just want to say this real quick. I think what it is about like the PC gamer things is like they find something that they're most comfortable with, and if you've ever played Counter-Strike, you'll notice that if you play any game mode, you will always get the same map over and over and over again. It's just because, I don't know, and you feel comfortable playing that game. Just like with League of Legends, I can quit it 1,000 times, but I'll still go back to it and complain about it the entire time.
Yes, I know. I'm there for it.
Variety is the spice of life.
Well, Nate, weren't you saying, like, the first time we loaded up Counter-Strike, Nate bought me a copy of CSGO. The first game we loaded up, Nate was like, this is like a slightly modified version of the same level I played 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's all it is. They haven't done much changes to the format or even the structure, or they let you put pretty symbols on your guns.
Yeah, I was going to say, but gun skins.
So I guess what we're all concluding here is that the reason why the gaming world lives and dies by sequels is because gamers don't like change?
Well, nobody likes change. Change is scary.
Nuh-uh. I play new games all the time, and I hate them and love them.
You also don't take it as seriously as most people.
That's true.
But gaming's not serious. It's a game.
Well, it is and it isn't. You can do it competitively if you like.
Yeah,
I mean, you can say it's not serious, but we have prime living examples to the contrary within our own gene pool.
Plus, when you dismiss somebody's like hobby like that, when you say, "Oh, it's just X" or "It's just this," when they dedicate so much time to it, it feels bad, man. It just, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not just a game, but people like spend their whole lives playing games. Well, few people have because games are relatively new. And to have somebody just say, "Oh, you just dedicated all that time for nothing," like, you did it because you're having fun, man. That's your thing.
No, I'm not dismissing
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, here's what I'm saying, Michael. If video games disappeared right now, this very moment, there were no more video games, nobody would host anything, all your games were deleted, the world would just keep on turning, and everyone would just keep on living. That's what I sum it up to. I'm not trying to minimize it because it's my favorite hobby. I used to spend more time playing video games in my free hours than anything else. But they're still just games.
Then you were dumb and had kids.
Yeah. No, I didn't start playing video games until, like, my kids were in grade school.
I know, but I felt the need to insult your decision to procreate.
Yeah, whatever. Moving on, GameStop
Alienating
is
all adults.
publishing
Bam.
Insomniac's newest game. Nate, you dropped this in the doc. Why don't you take that one?
Oh, all right. Well, on this article on IGN that is having trouble loading on my computer for some reason, because it's a dick, by Terry Schwartz. Insomniac Games putting out a new title, Song of the Deep, which I don't know anything about it. I don't know, and do I know any of their other stuff?
I don't know what Insomniac Games has published. I don't know. I'll do some quick Googling. Keep
But
talking.
at any rate, I don't care about the game. I would describe it as they do in the article, but that's irrelevant.
Well, I'll just tell you real quick. They made Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, and Resistance, so a very good company apparently.
Yeah,
And Sunset Overdrive, yeah.
I liked several of those. Okay, cool. So anyway, the point of this article is that their new game, Song of the Deep, is going to be published by GameStop, which seems slightly monopolish to me. That's now a word. It's canon. Just came up with it. But that doesn't really bother me. I think it's more GameStop trying to save their business because they've done stupid things. When they were the big dog, they didn't do anything, and then as people caught up, they started doing stupid things like selling statuettes and cell phones and shit. So I think that this is just, I guess, the next logical step for them to try to save their business before they go under.
Yeah, maybe. And it's pretty interesting as the article goes on. They make absolutely clear that this is not a visionary collaboration, that Insomniac Games has retained all creative rights and freedoms and all that. What GameStop is doing for them is marketing and promoting the game, and I guess what they get out of it is the only physical copies you can get of this game will be at a GameStop store. So there's that, and they're probably getting a revenue cut, you know, how publishing works.
I'm sure they've got the usual deal or whatever. They work something out. I just wonder if it's going to be a success, where does that leave GameStop? Because the digital downloads aside, which is how most of this kind of game will sell, I imagine. But that aside, GameStop, if it's a good game, stands to boost themselves very well. So does that leave them sort of getting rid of the micro store?
I don't know. If they go into publishing, if they see publishing as an avenue to recreate their business, why the hell would they not pursue it and then eventually phase out their physical stores?
I can't see them ever actually phasing out their physical store.
I was going to say the same thing.
But there's a lot more money to be in publishing video games than there is in being the aftermarket retailer of them, or the secondary retailer, however the hell you pronounce it, whatever the industry terminology is for it, the third party. They would be cutting out the middleman, so I don't know.
Yeah, but they are the middleman.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
What do you got to say on it, Michael?
I don't really know what to say about it, because like when you said it was monopolish, I don't really see it as such, because if they're publishing, like, I know that if it is going to be a publishing thing and this turns out successfully, it'll be a slippery slope and they'll keep doing more publishings. But as for now, like, I'm not very worried about this one game creating a quote-unquote monopoly, because they can just make this game, and just like any other store that sells like a specific product, like say, you know, let's just use McDonald's for an example. You can't get a Big Mac at like Taco Bell, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So like if they create the demand for their own business, then people are going to come to their business and buy this game. I don't really know, like, I don't really know what else to say about it.
No, I see what you're getting at. I mean, this is no different from EA hosting its own digital download platform and publishing all the games.
So I don't really see what the problem is here.
Well, the idea is GameStop is an old behemoth that refused to evolve with as the world of gaming changed, and they have suffered enormously for it. And this looks like sort of a very calculated jump off a cliff. I mean, not a jump off a cliff, a reach into the dark. And maybe nothing will come of it, and maybe, I mean, because it is just a small market game, or maybe this will be an avenue for another big publisher, another EA or Ubisoft or some other set of scoundrels to enter the market. Who knows?
Well, my issue with the whole monopoly situation is that if EA decided to open up their own micro stores, people would be in arms about how they're trying to control the market. So I think that since it's coming from the other direction, I don't think people are seeing it that way.
When you say micro store, are you saying just like a store, like a GameStop-esque store?
Yeah.
Okay.
A small store.
Well, it
a
doesn't
little
mean
corner of the mall.
Well,
it doesn't necessarily mean a GameStop. It just means like an actual physical store.
Mm-hmm. I just never heard anybody use the word micro store before today, so I just didn't know if.
Really? Because I got it from that other guy.
That other guy.
Yeah, that guy.
You're so descriptive, Nate.
Well, there's only 2 other people in the podcast, and he's one of them. So that other guy.
Oh, that other guy.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, talking on EA, the EA has announced that they won't have a booth at E3 2016, which is a first for them in a long time. Now, Bethesda did the same thing, I believe, didn't they, in 2015? Didn't they, They abstained from E3 to do their own press briefings and all that sort of stuff? Hell, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Clue. Sure words and stuff.
Right. But they, I don't know. Doesn't this look hard like an attention grab? I mean, true. I mean, you might get lost in the clutter of E3, but how would EA get lost in it? They have millions of dollars to pour into spectacle. So I don't. What do you suppose they're trying to accomplish?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and mingle the two docs because this other article on Destructoid by Vicky Blake is basically saying that EA wants you to trust it. It's addressing this to PC gamers, and they even admit that over the last couple of years, they've been trying to do better by PC gamers because they know the mistakes they've made in the past. And the bad things they've done, at least in the eyes of the PC gamers. So I think that these two things are very related, and I think that they would like to. Let me go on record as I actually believe they are genuine in this. Their recent actions with giving away free games, albeit most of them are really old, but like now they're giving away a 2012 game, Need for Speed or something like that. I do believe they're genuine in this. The Origin Access is another thing that I believe will be a very good subscription-based gaming platform service. So I think that this is kind of trying to draw only positive attention, saying that they're not going to get caught up in the hype of E3, and they're just going to do their own thing where the people who are interested in what they have to say and what they have to do specifically are going to come see them directly.
Well, about the they're hosting their own event, I can see that as two things. Like, one, Nate said they're trying to get you to trust them, so they're putting the spotlight on themselves, opening themselves, to more scrutiny, if that makes sense. Like, they're hosting an entire event that's just them. There's nobody going to be focused on other things, if that makes sense. But at the same time, here in the article that Nate was just talking about, it says they don't want to be seen as just a corporate beast. And, like, if you're hosting your own event for your own products, you kind of make yourself out to be a corporate beast just by doing that. When you're only showcasing your things, and it's not like a huge, multi-business event like, E3 is, where it's showing all the top titles from every publisher. You're just showing your titles that you want to sell as many as possible for this year. You make yourself out to be that corporate beast. I don't know.
No, you're right. Their PR spin is kind of backwards. They're like spinning counterclockwise against themselves.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Not necessarily. I mean, I can see it that way. That does make sense. But this will also give them a chance to showcase their lesser-known products. They're reasons to show you, hey, this is why you should trust us, because we're also putting out these games that, quite frankly, wouldn't be worth the trouble at going through at E3, because people at E3 are only interested in the biggest and the
In the
best and
top
the newest.
titles. Yeah.
Yeah, so this can give them a chance to showcase games. Not to say they will. I don't know what's going to go on at this event, but they could showcase games like Grow Home, and they're smaller things. That's Ubisoft, but you know what I mean. They're smaller titles that maybe aren't as well known can now get some time because PC gamers clamor for more than just the biggest and the best.
I'm calling it right now. This is the very beginning of an enormous attempt at rebranding for Electronic Arts.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, of course. What?
I'm just saying, if anybody was going to make anything light of that, you're wrong. That's exactly what this is. And yes, renting your own convention centers and putting on your own very private, reserved ticket spectacle does nothing to lessen the idea that you're a corporate beast. But at the same time, it, like Nate said, it gives you the opportunity to show everything that you want to show without being muddled by all the sounds and lights from everything else at E3. What was it? 2012 or 2013 and 2014 that Electronic Arts won, so to speak, worst company in America.
Yep.
And
yeah.
These are the same years that British Petroleum is spilling hundreds of millions of gallons of oil into the Gulf.
It's just wildlife.
The fucking Americans have their priorities all fucked up. But I'm not saying they didn't deserve it. I'm just saying other companies might have deserved it more. But I mean, this rebranding is long overdue. They've been seen as some sort of just giant tentacled evil thing for the longest time. And I don't know, they're going to have to do a lot to change that impression.
Well, we don't really need the ocean anyway, so it's not like a big deal. No, and there's nothing wrong with a rebranding. They obviously are, they haven't, their sales haven't suffered yet, but they know what's on the horizon. So that's the need for the rebranding. But there's nothing wrong with that as long as they stick to it. They can still be, and this is going to be awful for me to say, but we all do it. They can still be an evil corporation, but if they're putting out a better product and I'm enjoying their stuff and they're being less invasive to me personally, I'm still going to do their things. I'm still going to play their games. Mm-hmm. We all still shop at Walmart knowing the child labor law is being broken.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. So as long as this branding sticks and they do try to do right by the people, the consumers, the people who are taking in their products, then I'm cool with it. And like I said, I believe they're genuine about it because they know that their time in the sun will fade quickly if they don't do something to change their image.
This kind of reminds me of, I wasn't around for it. I was too young to experience it. But the video game crash of 1983, how in 81, 82, and the beginning of 83, the market was completely inundated, just flooded with complete bullshit games, and everybody was making anything they could, and then everything came out from under them. And then in 1985, the industry came back with a brand new perspective on their customers and their products. And
shout out to Nintendo.
Yeah, I think that is, this might be a precursor or an attempt at prevention of the same thing. Like, of course, companies go through rebranding whenever they find themselves in a hole or in held in bad status or whatever reason. Maybe EA really is trying to take a new perspective on their customers because they've treated them all like fucking criminals for fucking 7-8 years now. Like, if you don't accept our DRM, you can't play our games because we know you're a fucking criminal. And I don't think DRM is going anywhere because everyone feels the need to protect their intellectual property. I mean, I know if I found out that somebody was using some creative work of mine, I would do something to protect it. Whether it meant I gained or lost money, it wouldn't matter. I would do something about it because it's mine. And I'm not really mad at them for what the DRM they institute until, my internet's down and I can't play a game. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. So, Cliff Bleszinski, according to an article by Tom Marks on PC Gamer, claims that first-person shooter campaigns can often cost 75% of the budget.
Bullshit.
Yeah, what? No.
Did either one of you, did you watch this thing?
No.
Yes, I did.
All right, I watched it as well, but if you want to take a few moments to watch it, Michael, while we gab on this, I don't know if I can call bullshit on him. Wouldn't he know a whole hell of a lot better than we do?
He would, but didn't we discuss in a previous episode that most of their budget goes to marketing? So to say that 75% of their budget goes to a single player campaign is bullshit. I don't even need to know facts. I'm just going to do it ignorant American style. I'm going to call it bullshit.
What if say, what were the figures before? Marketing was something like 40%, right?
Yeah.
So you've got 60% remaining. How is it unbelievable that 75% of the remaining 60% could be tied up in a campaign?
I can see the other side of it in that for a multiplayer, you need servers and you need 6 or 7 maps pre-DLC. Other than that, you don't really need much beyond the regular scope of what you would need for, to make the campaign work. So I can see how if they made a really good and in-depth campaign, it could maybe cost up to 75% of their budget. But I'm more willing to believe that this is a propaganda type situation where they're trying to make excuses for the reasons they are getting rid of campaigns and making games more multiplayer. Because I'll firmly believe that it is cheaper to make a multiplayer-only game than it is to make a multiplayer and a campaign.
Yeah. I don't know, because, you imagine all of the writing and the voice acting and the set creations, that of course it's digital, whatever, and the custom animations and particular characters you create for a campaign, assets and writing, voiceover, and assets that will never be a part of the game at large. I can imagine that can be pretty damned big, but I never imagined it would be 75%.
I was actually just before even when you said it was 75%, and then I kind of dismissed it. I was thinking about it when I clicked the video. It could be because when you write a script for a game, you have to design the map around that, and each animation has to be different than the multiplayer. When multiplayer is just a faceless character just running and shooting at each other. But with the games, you have characters, so you need voice actors. You need specific animations for their faces. You need to design the map to be as immersive as possible for a campaign, so it doesn't feel like you're just running in and shooting, just shooting for no reason. So I don't know. I guess I can see that it could cost a lot. I don't know if it would be 75% though. But even with cutscenes, because cutscenes cost a lot of money to make, because you have to, make the cutscene
and other stuff.
Perfect.
Or whatever.
Yeah, my brain just shorted out there for a second. I was just
happens to me all the time.
Looking at Cliff Bleszinski's face, and my brain just shorted out.
Well, it's. I think, and I think, Nate, that you are correct that this is a propaganda move because they would like to not have to spend that money on the campaign. Of course they wouldn't. And, we've talked in the past about the rates of popularity for a campaign. Activision has claimed in the past that, less than 15% of owners actually play the campaign of any of their games, and less than 10% of that 15% actually finish the campaign. So I can see how they would see it as an enormous waste of money.
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that Activision Blizzard really missed the opportunity to name themselves Black Division.
Ooh, nice.
So
And it's good banter. You shut up, Michael. Secondly, you can repurpose the maps from the campaign into the multiplayer. You can repurpose the voice acting into the multiplayer. None of it is solely exclusively for one or the other if you don't want it to be. I mean, what game did we play for so long, Clay, where playing the multiplayer was just playing through the maps of the campaign?
Battlefield 3.
Yeah, and that was a good game.
Hell yeah.
So, I believe that it costs considerably more to do a campaign than it does to do a multiplayer only. But if you're telling me 75%, I'm calling shenanigans.
Maybe he's just making a blanket statement based off of his experiences with certain games that he's made.
Well, and you've got the buzzword or the buzz phrase "up to," which is nonsense. It's a complete nonsense phrase.
It's arbitrary as hell.
Yes, because I can spend up to $9 million on gas if I filled up everyone's tank in the state.
Yeah, yes, you could. That is a plausible scenario. But the thing is, I don't like games that don't have campaigns. I mean, I liked Titanfall. I liked it a lot, and I liked Evolve okay, but I didn't like either one of them as much as I liked Bad Company or any of the Call of Duties that I truly enjoyed, or any of the later Battlefields. I probably played every campaign I loved 3 or 4 times because, sometimes you don't want to get online and compete with shitheads who, had sex with your mom the other night. So sometimes you just want to go through that experience and you've got, 6 to 10 hours to blow, and that's a great way to do it. I will miss the campaigns if they disappear. In shooters, anyway.
If anything, they should move towards co-op campaigns.
Hell yeah.
Because then you can have the goodness of a storyline and the awesomeness of playing with your buddies.
Mm-hmm. And the only game we ever played that did it well was Battlefield. If it didn't have particular glitches, which we can't get past on PC. Boo.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In the first map.
Welcome back, listeners. This week, Ubisoft and EA decided they would clash over the trademark of the word ghost. Now, single word trademarks as came with King, the company that trademarked anything using candy with regard to video games and then sued people into, bankruptcy anytime they wanted to make a game that had candy in it. This is much of the same vein.
I just think it's completely retarded, man. Like, I thought it was retarded when the Candy Saga people, took candy. Like, how do you trademark an entire word in the English language? That's so stupid. But this, like, it's not even like it could be similarly, like, confused. Like, nobody's gonna be like, oh, I went to go buy Ghost Recon, but I accidentally bought Need for Speed because it's published by Ghost Games. Oh, whoops. Like, what?
You don't think this is an area of contention, Michael?
Who's taking this seriously? Like, I'm reading the notice of opposition, and it's just stupid. Like, none of this makes sense. Oh my god, it's so dumb. Oh my god.
That's exactly right. This is basically EA and Ubisoft saying our customers are stupid as shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they can't tell our games from yours?
I feel like this could be described in, like, some mom going in to buy a game for a kid to GameStop. And she's like, I'm looking for a game. It's like Ghost Games. Oh, you're looking for Need for Speed by Ghost Games? Yeah, I think it was actually like Recon something. Oh, Need for Speed Recon by Ghost Games. We actually have 6 of those, and then there's another one coming out, and you could pre-order it right now. Okay, is that the one my son wants? It could be, but you might want to be safe and buy both of them, and then, like, EA and Ubisoft are just standing there, they're like,
The fact that you can trademark a singular word is absolutely asinine.
The most retarded thing I've ever heard.
I can understand trademarking a phrase like Nike trademarks "just do it." That makes sense to a certain degree. Now, I couldn't steal that as a company slogan, but I can say "just do it" all I want in my personal life. But to trademark anything that has a singular word in it is a very vague area, and you're just asking for trouble. And the fact that anybody can sue anybody over a singular word is ridiculous. It's asinine. I'm saying it twice in the same description.
I mean, since this is allowed, I'd say why not go to town with it, you know? Why not just, like, trademark very basic things that exist everywhere, like chairs? And then, so in the game, somebody's using dialogue. They're like, I'm going to take a seat in that horizontal flat surface used for sitting down. And everything has to be super specific without using the actual word. It would be fantastic. What a world that would be.
The fucking American copyright and trademark system is so goddamn broken.
Or sword. I'm gonna use this flat, sharpened metal to kill you.
How do you... I don't know the trademark laws. Maybe I need to read up on them. But I know this is possible, and I know it shouldn't be possible, because it's stupid as shit. So if I want to make a video game, I have to call them confectionery treats?
Yes, confectionery crush.
And then, aren't you getting super specific about something super vague, or super vague about something super specific? Because I clearly would mean Candy Crush, if that's the game I made, but you couldn't sue me because it's not Candy Crush, it's confectionery treats.
Well, here's the human side of all of this. The United States Patent and Trademark Office is run by people. Human beings decide what is a viable trademark or copyright and what is not. So you gotta wonder what goes through the heads during the arbitration process or whatever it is when they decide on something like a single word. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the room where they decided that a company could fucking trademark the word candy.
I'm just thinking of loopholes. So here's what you do, Nate. You start up a game and you call it Sweet Smasher Creed. The Sweet Smasher Creed. So it's the opposite. It's following the same as the Candy Crush Saga, except you've replaced the C's with S's, and then it's Sweet Smash. But you never use candy. You don't call it candy. You call it sweets.
Sweets. Yeah, all right. I'm digging.
The
No.
sweets. The Sweet
This
Smasher
goes.
Chronicles. Oh yes.
This goes a lot further, and I might have to look into a lot more of these patent applications and notices of opposition, and find out where these decisions come from and how they're made. Like, do some real journalism. I don't know.
I get that it's up to certain people sitting in the office of patents or whatever the hell it's called, but you can apply a generic rule that says anybody who applies with one word that's already in the English language cannot be trademarked.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to make up a word like hermaphrodon, then cool, I could trademark that, because now that's a proper noun. But you shouldn't be able to trademark anything that's not... I don't know. It hurts my brain to think about. And it offends me as a human being.
Wait a minute. Who published Sweet Smasher Chronicles? Ghost Games! Those bastards!
Now
my
this rolls us really nicely into the Fine Brothers. This is a gaming podcast, but we're members of the YouTube community, and we can't help but touch on the subject. And Michael is the perfect special guest for this, because I know he's watched more than his share on this topic. So, Michael, why don't you explain to those few out there who have no idea who the Fine Brothers are, what they did, and why they couldn't get away with it?
Okay, so pretty much the Fine Brothers are They're two unoriginal, arrogant people on the internet that just happened to make something that's so bland and so easy to grasp that millions of people latched onto it, and they translated that as to them being pioneers of the reaction genre, as if nobody had ever made a reaction video in the history of ever before them. So what they did with their 14 million subscribers, when they had 14 million subscribers, um, is they thought, oh wow, you know what? Oh wait, hold on. I didn't even say anything about how into themselves they are.
It's okay. You can
A
start over.
few, yeah. No, I'm gonna just keep on over here. So, uh, a few years back, I don't know if this was last year, maybe. Ellen DeGeneres put up a video on her, on her show that was children reacting to, something or ever. And then the Fine Bros had the audacity to say, Ellen DeGeneres didn't even include us in this children reacting video. Like, she didn't even contact us or ask us for our information or give us credit to this. Like, they had some sort of intellectual hold on people reacting to something, and now they've gotten so far into their own mind that they think that they're so good that they
Michael,
extended
I think this is more the ego than the id.
yeah, they extended their ego extended over their eyes, like way past their eyes, like to the floor. And they were just like, okay, well, you know how people are always stealing our stuff? How about we give them the option to steal our stuff? And you're like, wait a minute, we'll give them permission to use our stuff, so we won't do any work, but we'll take money from them for doing all the work with our permission. And yeah, yeah,
Well, as far as I understand it, the program that they wanted to institute would allow approved content creators to not only use their format, that is, people sitting in front of computers as if they could trademark such a fucking thing and reacting to things, but also give them the branding and the artwork, the assets, and the support to make high quality content under the Fine Brothers banner, and therefore give them the exposure. And Nate, why don't you tell people why everyone exploded about this? What is so scary about that whole idea?
Well, their idea is right. I think that's a good idea. Like the subsidiary company, essentially. They would be letting other people benefit from their work and they would benefit from the work. It'd be a partnership. The problem is that they tried to trademark the word react,
react.
Oh my
which,
god.
as we were just mocking EA and Ubisoft for, is utter horseshit. And this is the problem: is the people who are subscribing to their channels. I'm not a fan of their work. Quite frankly, I don't think they have any talent, and they found a niche, or a niche, as Clay likes to pronounce it, and it made them very successful. Good for them. Cool. Awesome story. However, they don't have any talent of their own. So
People have been doing these reaction things for decades.
exactly, but they
Yeah,
made
since
it.
camcorders were a thing.
They are the softcore porn of the reactionary video industry. It's Cinemax. It's family friendly. It's on the TV. You don't have to see the naughty bits. It's it's as family friendly. It's as non-offensive as you can get, basically. So it appeals to a wide range. Now the problem is when you try to trademark a single word like react, which is a very basic word in the English language, and as a matter of fact, probably the number one word people go to when they want to react to something.
Like this show?
Yeah.
Oh,
not
fuck,
respond.
we better file for our patent.
Yeah. So that's where they drew the problem. And I think my favorite part of this is that the famous YouTubers, the really big ones, the ones that are described as being on billboards, basically, for YouTube, just toe the company line because, I guess, because it makes YouTube look better if they
It's
toe
the
the company
YouTube
line.
mafia, bro.
Yeah, there's this. It's nonsense because all of the YouTubers, everyone on YouTube, if you make one video on YouTube that gets one view, you should consider yourself part of the YouTube community, and you should be outraged by the fact that they are trying to trademark the word react. Because, I mean, react videos are the basis of television. The news is technically a reaction video.
Yeah, every minute of it.
So, for them to try to have the gall, the ego, is just asinine. I'm stuck on that word tonight. Jesus, it's
No, it's all right. The more than the idea that they wanted to trademark React, what really caught me about this is, I admit, I had never heard of the Fine Brothers before this exploded. I guess they're just not content I was ever interested enough to find, or for YouTube to recommend through whatever algorithm. But what struck me is after I started watching video on this subject and reading about it, like Michael said, the fact that it happened with more than just Ellen. They've issued copyright strikes and they've gotten pissy more than once when people present a video where a person sits before a computer and reacts to what's on the screen. How can you how do you have the gall, the audacity, to use both your words, to think that you could own such an ambiguous thing? People sit in front of their computers and react every day, and sometimes others record it. You think you get a piece of that simply because you got big doing it? You weren't the fucking originators of that. They've been doing that since, what was the show called with Bob Saget? America's Funniest Home Videos. That shit's been around for fucking 40 years.
longer than that.
Yeah, longer than that.
Oh, yeah, and then there was Bill Cosby's Kids Say the Darndest Things.
Kids say the darndest things. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, they're asshats. They're fuckwits and asshats, and they're getting everything they deserved. They've lost like 170,000 subscribers in 4 or 5 days. And to be honest, I think they deserve more than that. But also, to be honest, the majority of Fine Brothers subscribers, they don't have a clue what's going on.
Yeah, that's the point I was getting at before I derailed the shit out of myself with my anger, is that the majority of their subscribers are not the YouTube community. It's not the people like us, like Boogie and Jim Sterling, and I want to put us with them even though we're nowhere near their level, but we'll get there. But those people who create the living fabric that is YouTube, their subscribers are the people who just want to get on YouTube and have a safe, innocent laugh. Their content, in my opinion, is not something I find entertaining at all. It's kind of lazy, and I don't know how they got famous doing it. But then again, people watch reality shows, so what do I know?
Actually, it's funny that you say that. I was talking about the majors over at IC, the new majors, and reality television is one of the majors for TVR.
All right, wait a minute. You're talking about like young adults can major in academia in reality television?
Yeah, like producing reality television.
The world's gone to hell. I give up.
Did we not have an article
I fucking
the other
quit.
day about, maybe we didn't have an article, about how some school is letting people take video game classes in place of gym?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. During class hours.
No.
Schools in Switzerland or wherever the fuck it was, they're teaching gaming. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is so extracurricular by definition.
You can have, yes, gaming as an extracurricular activity. I'm cool with that. But do people not realize that this is why we're fat fucks? To replace gym with something else is nonsense. The reason why most people get heavier and heavier after they get out of school is because they're no longer required to do physical activity. Oh, we're so derailed. But sorry, it just angered the shit out of me.
It's all right.
I don't know. Back on the Fine Brothers, anyway. They are going to meet, if they haven't already, a ton of opposition in the opposition phase of the patent or the trademark.
Oh, no. Go ahead and let Michael talk on the latest
sweet.
developments.
I don't know what you mean. Like what? You just threw me out there, man. I don't know what he's talking about.
He just threw you off the boat. It was like, swim, bitch!
Yeah.
Michael. Michael!
Yes?
They rescinded the whole project. Yeah, so tell them about it. I gotta pee.
The whole project.
Did they now?
Yeah, what they did was they released damage control statement saying, we're really sorry about what we did. We didn't think this through or whatever. We're going to rescind all of the trademarking stuff and all of the community violations that we called against people, that kind of thing.
Well, was that the video where they apologized without apologizing?
I didn't know there was a video. I just saw the text apology.
Oh, because there was a video, like a little 3-minute video that they put out after the fact, where they apologized for us misunderstanding.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that the most egocentric non-apology bullshit you ever heard?
Oh, no, I have to watch it. I've just looked it up.
They didn't apologize for what they were trying to do because, as they proved by the Ellen debacle, they're arrogant fucks. They apologized that we didn't understand what they were trying to do. And if that is not the most ridiculous part of this whole thing, I don't know what is.
Okay. I opened it right now. Oh, okay. It's a parody, okay. It was just them making faces for like 3 minutes. Come on.
This whole thing, I mean, hopefully they learned a lesson in all of this. I mean, the fact that they rescinded the entire project, they're not going forward with any of this, and they spent months planning it and creating the assets to be shared, and creating contacts outside of their own private multi-million-dollar empire.
Here's the link for the video if you guys want it. Not the spoof one, the actual one. I'm watching it.
I already saw it.
Oh, it's a spoof video too. Jesus Christ. I believed it. They were talking for real, and then suddenly it was like, come on.
Well, I mean, it's worth ridicule,
My
isn't it?
whole problem with their explanation as to how they were going about doing it and why they were doing it is, you're on the fucking internet. Why could you not grow your own brand globally with your multi-million-dollar corporation? Why did you need other people to do it? Like, that's...
Well, the thing is, I think what they wanted was they were so offended by anybody else making a video of a person sitting before a computer reacting to the thing on the computer that they wanted to scare people into joining their, what do you call that, Michael? You said it earlier. Multi-channel network, I think you called it. Yeah, they wanted to scare people into doing it so that they could get further control of the market. And so, ironically, they were talking during the whole announcement about how they wanted to get away from the corporatization or the Hollywoodization of YouTube that seems to be creeping up on everybody. And so, come join us in our conglomerate.
How are you guys going to get rid of the Hollywoodization and the corporatization of YouTube? Oh, we're going to make our own corporation?
Yeah.
And we're going to force everybody to fall in
how does
step.
That make it different? Oh, no, because, you'll be part of our business. You won't be, just some guy. We'll give you the tools, you see? We'll get the money. You get the tools. We'll give you exposure. Do you understand? Okay, but, I feel like that literally sounds like a corporation. No, see? Because we're partners.
Which is a hot load of shit from the start.
That's what I'm saying, is even from the start, it was flawed.
How did they not hear it coming out of their own mouths? Michael and I had a conversation about this earlier this afternoon. They own a big company. How did they not have a single person come to them? Especially, they've got to employ people who specialize in PR. How did not a single person come to them and say, this is going to backfire? Do you not understand the complete hypocrisy from sentence 5 to sentence 7?
Well, it's not that nobody spoke up. We've all had those bosses. I've had bosses I've gone to multiple times and said, "This is a dumb idea," and then their arrogance takes over, and they're like, "Yeah, well, it's my idea, so we're doing it."
That's the same thing Michael said to me.
That's what it is. We've already discussed it. At their ego, they're clearly egotists. They don't have any control over it, obviously, because that, I don't know, that Ellen debacle just keeps popping up in my mind, as if she had to ask some random YouTube people permission to do a segment on her show.
Yeah, as if she doesn't have 10 times the audience, they're 14 million.
I don't know, it keeps popping up in my mind.
Oh my god, this is the dumbest thing. Okay, so I'm watching the actual response video that they made.
Double actual,
Not,
got it.
Not a spoof, yeah, because I had to go through 2 of them. And they're saying the way they're talking is like they're talking to children. Like they're talking to children. Like, no, we're not saying that we own the reaction genre. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that we'll give you the tools to help us be part of our program. We're content creators. We're passionate about this. Oh my god, this is.
Well,
is so
if I
painful.
remember to put a link to the actual video, I'll try to remember to put that in the description of this video. But all of this is gonna blow by, and I can't see what comes next.
I don't know. I hope they lose subscribers, and I'm not going to wish them too much ill will, but if we don't wish them enough ill will, then the next time they'll just be sneakier, because you know they're going to try some dumb shit again.
It's just crazy. Like I mentioned to Michael earlier, why couldn't they just be satisfied with their millions upon millions of dollars? And Michael was like, because there's millions more to make.
Millions even.
Think about it.
Didn't you just read or hear that Google finally surpassed Apple as the most wealthiest company in existence at $570 billion in worth?
Hey, good job, Google. I'm not even mad about that. I'm
Well,
proud of them.
I'd be happier about it if they stomped Apple into the dirt, but that's an immeasurable amount of wealth. Holy shit.
Well,
But
I'd be happier if Google had a more viable competitor. I don't really care for Apple and the proprietary society they're trying to create. I just wish that Google had a stronger open source competitor like themselves. But that's neither here nor there.
Clay, they put out a new charger every time they get a new phone. Every time the new iPhone comes out, almost every time.
That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It
several
was one
times.
time.
It was way more than one time.
No.
Yes, because you need a different
No.
charger for the iPad than you do for the iPhone.
That's different.
It's not different, and it's dumb.
Different product.
No, I can charge my Samsung phone on the same charger from my LG Android tablet.
Yeah, but I can't charge my iPhone on your Samsung tablet charger.
Proprietary
Explain that,
society.
science. Explain that one, science.
Oh, awful.
Okay,
Awful.
okay. Moving on. Back on topic. We gotta close out the show on a few things about gaming at least.
We should talk about The Division and its cheater plague.
You're right. Crave Online, their contributor Paul Tamburo
Temporal.
claims that cheaters have ruined the Division's PC beta, and you don't want to buy it right out of the gate.
Ooh, can I roll this?
Oh yeah, do it.
Let me find it. Hold on. Bam. Okay. In response, Ubisoft employee wrote, "Guys, so you're aware that things discussed here are in fact not hacks or cheats, but merely abusive glitches that exist in the game currently." Which is so much worse because they never fix any games.
No. They fixed Unity from a broken
Yeah, I was
mess
gonna
to a
say,
slightly less broken mess.
Yeah.
They fixed Unity, and like after they get a bad rap. I mean, they should get a bad rap, obviously. Like releasing Unity as it was one of the most retarded, painfully stupid things that you could do to a community. But the game, once they fixed it, it got good reviews. People enjoyed it, but that's because it was playable compared to
But
not being playable.
if from the start you have a glitch that people can figure out on the first day of a closed beta,
You shouldn't sell the game. until you fix it.
Do you think that there's not? Do you think they're going to pull it from shelves? Do you think they're going to push back the release date? Fuck no. And people are still going to buy it. And you know that if there are people who can figure out those glitches that quickly, that within hour one of the game being released, everyone's going to be doing it, and it's going to be a completely unplayable mess.
Yeah, and apparently these abuse of glitches have allowed players to attain super speed, unlimited ammo, near invisibility, and invulnerability. So, the funny thing is, I'm not exactly sure what they were aiming for with the Division, what it's supposed to be. What it appears to be to me is an instance-based, open-world, first-person shooter, MMO conglomeration of bullshit. I don't think they have a focused vision on this game, but apparently the PvE is supposed to be the bulk of the game, but you know there's going to be a huge fan base who plays it for the PvP. And as far as these glitches or abuse of glitches is concerned, the PvP is entirely ruined in the beta because you can't go a moment without seeing somebody you can't hurt or has just turned invisible or never seems to stop firing their gun.
It's kind of like, do you remember back when you used to play console, Clay, and you're like, man, I really miss Call of Duty 4. I'm going to pop that in for a second.
Oh, God.
Do you remember the nightmares?
Oh, my. World at War was the worst.
I don't know. I only tried going back to World at War once, and I had a bad time, but Call of Duty 4, I was like, okay, well, I'll just go back. Maybe it was just one game, but every single lobby had a hacker, had a modded console. I don't even know how do you hack on an Xbox? I don't know.
We've gone over this before. Nate explained in a previous episode that you don't hack on a console. You hack it on the PC, then move it to the console.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, that makes more sense, yeah. So these people are playing, and they're, like, invulnerable. They could run at Mach 10 through walls and headshot you without even you being spawned yet. It's like you're watching a kill cam of your kill cam.
Yes, and I don't understand people's motivations to do that.
It's just sad, man.
Well,
like, you go from one of the greatest multiplayer games of all time. I'm gonna put that out there. Call of Duty 4 was fantastic.
Oh yes, you'll get no arguments here.
And it went from that to like a cesspool. It's literally a cesspool. I bet if I turn on my Xbox right now, if it still runs with the amount of dust that it probably has in it, if I turn it on right now and I jump into a Call of Duty 4 online game, I will somehow be modded. There's so many people, like, they're like, oh dude, that looks fun. I wish I could just kill people and be invulnerable.
Well,
what happens when everybody's invulnerable and you can't kill anybody?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I don't understand. What motivates that level of cheating, of hacking? I don't understand. Well, for one, the purist argument, it's rather, what do you call it? It's very, damn it, what do you call it when it's only on the surface?
Boring?
No, god damn it!
It's only skin deep, Clay.
Superficial, thank you. It's very superficial, but it rings true that that argument that yes, you are ruining the integrity of that game, and I believe that when you walk in or when you log into a Call of Duty 4 or World at War match, and everybody but you has a rainbow of colors in their name.
And unlimited ammo.
Yeah, well, that's how I identified cheaters. You could always tell.
When their names were changing colors constantly.
Yeah, shit like that. And my question is, what motivates that? Like, why is that? I mean, I understand playing games just to have fun, because I'm bad at video games, so I can only play games just to have fun. But I don't understand the motivation to hack or cheat or it's whatever.
I'm going to add to the horror story with throw in the Call of Duty World at War. I borrowed it from somebody because I never owned it for the Xbox. And I put it in, I played one game that was over in 30 seconds, and one guy was 75-0, and It literally, as soon as anyone spawned, including his own team, they died instantly.
Oh wow.
What the fuck's the point in that?
I was going to say, what do you gain from that?
Dude,
If you're-
I'm a layup troll, lol. Dude, you got so pranked. That's what that is,
Like-
dude. That's what it is.
I don't understand cheating at all. Like, if you're going to play a single-player game and you're having a hard time getting through it, so you want to put in a cheat code, I guess that's one thing. I don't know. I'd rather earn it myself. But when you're in a multiplayer game and you're cheating, you're ruining the integrity of the game. And when you're cheating to that level, that can't even be fun for you. Like,
No,
there's
I mean,
no
how
way
much
that's
is
entertaining.
how much is a private laugh worth? How many lobbies do you need to ruin to satisfy your own inside joke before you log out? I'll never understand that crap. So, I guess the sum of this story is probably don't buy The Division, don't pre-order, cancel your pre-order, because Ubisoft doesn't have proper anti-cheat in place, and they also haven't fixed their bugs. So,
Let's release this shit product and see what happens.
yeah, release it now, patch it later.
Does, what's the word I'm
Why would
looking
we
for?
fix it if it didn't make us money? Like, what's the point?
Does this video game, this is a video game series, right? Isn't it Tom Clancy or whatever? I don't know, I'm losing my mind.
No, Tom Clancy's just like the creative mind behind it. Like, you know.
He's
Okay,
dead, too.
but
Yeah,
but
he's
yeah,
dead.
but what I'm saying is the Tom Clancy name on video games is a real thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a
But-
long-running series, yeah.
Is there that diehard of a fan base?
Actually,
For a
speaking
Tom
of,
Clancy?
Ghost Recon is a Tom Clancy game.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It all makes
So-
sense!
Illuminati
It all
confirmed.
comes full circle.
Yes!
But does it have that big of a following? Is it a real thing?
Tom Clancy hates Need for Speed, and that's where the lawsuit's coming from. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I don't know if there's that much of a following for the Tom Clancy games. The Division I'm pretty sure is a brand new title and concept that's just sort of sold under the Tom Clancy name.
Splinter Cell's got one of those cult followings, you know. If you played Splinter Cell when you were younger, then you probably are going to play Splinter Cell now. Ghost Recon's the same way. That was actually the first rated M game I got, and Bub actually told Lori that I had a rated M game, and then she made Dad return it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was sad. And then the next week, Dad bought it for me again.
Oh, nice.
Rated M. When did game ratings come along? Because I don't recall that ever being an issue.
Well, parents don't understand what they should and should not buy.
Oh, you need to
For
call
their
Will
children.
Smith and see if we can get the rights to that song.
We're gonna get jiggy with it?
Parents just don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you just said parents just don't understand.
I was chilling out, Max, and relaxing, all cool,
No,
just
that's
shooting
the-
some b-ball outside of the school.
That's
That's
the
the
Fresh Prince
what's
of
happening?
Bel-Air. That's not that song. That's a different song.
I rapped
That's
that
not
whole
that
thing
song.
to Sebastian the other day. He was like, "Damn, you got that down, don't you?" I was like, "I don't know how many reruns of that I saw."
All of the reruns.
Like,
Oh, okay. We're getting out of here, listeners. Nate, why don't you tell them where they can find everything they want about Three Cynics?
At my house?
Nope.
Yeah, they could. I got
That's
a
a
whole
bad idea.
folder on my computer and everything.
probably
Anyway.
is a bad idea.
You can find all of our content all over the interwebs. SoundCloud, your favorite podcast app, iTunes. Rate and review of positivity on iTunes would be super fantastic. It could get us into the news and noteworthy. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and all that other social media nonsense. Again, we like interaction with the fans. We'd like to know what you guys have to say. We'd like to know how you feel about what we're talking about. If there is something you'd like us to talk about, this may be a subject that we're just missing, please let us know. We'd love to include that in what we do. I'd like to even try to start a viewer feedback, kind of a shout out on our show if we can. So any comments you have, please post them on the SoundCloud feed or in the YouTube comment section. We read all of them. We try to respond to as many as we can. It sounded like I was going to say more, but I kind of ran out of steam, so that's what I got.
Wonderful. Excellent. I'll close it out then. If you're listening to us on audio and want to see our video presentations, look for us on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can find us on any podcast app to keep your ears busy while your hands are busy. We'll see you next time.
Toodles.
Well, maybe that'll match up.